Yo, what up, basketball card collector and investor friends? Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. It is Saturday morning, November 20th, and I'm super excited to bring this to you guys. This is my first episode of something I'm going to call Explore the Card, where we take a super deep dive immersion into a particular card and just basically educate everybody like I've educated myself. I put a little bit of research into it. It's going to tell you, I think, pretty much anything and everything you want to know about the card that we're discussing, the set it comes from, the pop, the grade, the value, the future, the past, the present, when it's sold, where it's sold, things like that. I'm going to try to keep the video relatively brief. I'm going to give you my word that I'm going to be pretty consistent with this. And pick a different Michael Jordan parallel or Michael Jordan insert once a week. And so this is episode 1. I hope you guys like it. Please let me know in the comments if you have anything you think I need to add as far as data regarding a particular card, if I missed anything. But without any more delay, let's get started. So obviously, as you can tell from the thumbnail and the card on the screen, the card we're talking about today is the 1993 finest Michael Jordan Refractor card number 1. I'm going to bounce back and forth. First, I'm going to start by just kind of showing you mine. This is what I have in the highest grade. So I've got the PSA 9. I think I paid about $2,200 for the card. I can't remember when. I would say a little over a year and a half ago, something like that. I don't have the PSA 10. It's something I've looked at. It's something I'm watching closely. And I actually had to redo all of my data this morning when I got set up for the video because one of them sold last night. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna kind of start with, I'm gonna start by going through an Excel spreadsheet with you guys, and we will bounce back and forth. You can see I have Card Ladder pulled up here. Card Ladder is invaluable. An invaluable source of data when you're talking about cards that mean something, which this 1993 finest refractor Jordan obviously does. I've got the PSA pop report pulled up. I've got the Beckett pop report pulled up just so we can bounce back and forth. But anyway, here's my card. I'm proud of it. Here's the back of it. It's pretty cool. It says down here in 93, he's the only player to win the NBA playoffs MVP 3 years straight. In addition, Jordan has garnered 2 Olympic gold medals and an NCAA championship. So even in 1993, when he was pretty much halfway there, he was already absurd. Everybody knew they were watching greatness, watching something special. So let's get cranking. So the first thing I'll tell you is I want to always talk about the set that the card that we're diving into comes from. So the 1993 finest. I'm gonna pull this over here so you guys can see. So the 1993, it's actually, finest is a product that's created by Topps, and so this is a 180 card base set, and there's an additional 40 cards on the set to give it 220 total. The 40 card subset features the top 10 players in each NBA division. So 10 times 4 is 40, and so that's why you get those division cards. Just a little side note, ask yourself why the NBA still has divisions. You get nothing for winning your division. It means nothing. It doesn't factor into playoffs. I guess maybe there's a tiebreaker if teams have the same record based on division performance. I'm not even sure. Never really thought about it. It's not like Major League Baseball or football where you win your division, you get a certain seed or whatnot, but or a guarantee this or guarantee that. Anyway, 220 card base set. The only insert is a 27 card main attraction set found in jumbo packs. If you're thinking, why haven't I even heard of the main attraction set? It's because Jordan's not in it. And when Jordan's not in an insert set, it just doesn't get the attention from the 90s that most sets do when Jordan's included. And Kobe hadn't come around, obviously, and so Kobe's certainly not in it because he was probably a freshman in high school. The key rookies in this, in the 1993 finest set are Penny and Chris Webber. Not a great year for rookies. It's just those two. Obviously Webber's a Hall of Famer. and Penny has a huge collector base. But those are the two big rookies that you'd be looking for in the 93 Finest Refractor set. Again, let me go back. I want everybody to understand there's a distinction between parallels and inserts. So this card is a parallel, not an insert. A parallel is, a card that's included in the base set but looks different. Like if you're a modern collector, you'll be familiar with Prism. So an orange or a red or a blue Prism, those are parallels. An insert would be, Scoring Kings, Michael Jordan, or a recent insert would be My House or something like that. So, people often interchange those words, insert and a parallel, but they are two vastly different things. A strange fact about this, which I noticed on Cardboard Connection, is that there is no card number 159. Topps, for whatever reason, made an error. There's two card number 136s, Jim Jackson and Sean Kemp. So I thought that was odd, but it does balance out. So there's still 220 cards. Sealed boxes of 1993 Finest. If you wanted to chase this Refractor Jordan, go for it. Those are $725 to $900 from what I could see on 130 point for comps. Greening is the big issue with this set. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, you might hear the term greening. You might hear the phrase turning. You might hear the phrase hulking. This is something that happens with cards from the 93 set and in a couple of Topps Chrome sets later in the 90s as well, where the cards actually turn green. There's a million, zillion, billion different theories about why that happens. Oxidation, exposure to sunlight, this, that. I'm not an expert on it. I just know it's an issue. And I know finding one that's not green is a really big deal. So I'm super happy. As you can see, the PSA 9 I have looks to me to be great as far as color. It is off center, left to right, which is why it's a 9. Corners and edges look great, but greening is not an issue at all. I mean, it's beautiful and colorful and it's, fantastic. So keeping on, these refractors, this Jordan refractor, refractors generally come pack odds 1 in every 9 packs for regular packs, and then 1 in every 4 packs for jumbo packs. So your odds of pulling one are a little bit better in jumbo packs because I think it's twice as many cards, so the odds are a little bit better. The Jordan refractor itself, based on what I could derive, considering there's actually 2 pack odds, there's the 1 in 9 and 1 in 4. So the odds of pulling a Jordan refractor is 1 in 1,430 packs approximately. If I'm wrong, somebody comment and let me know I'm wrong. But that's the best I could deduce from my math and what I saw on some message boards and Cardboard Connection and places like that. The reason this card is important and the reason I chose it first, I could have chosen a million different Jordan cards. It's not the most expensive card. It's not the rarest card. It's not the most popular card, but it is relevant. It is historically relevant because it's Michael Jordan's first refractor card ever produced. And so for that reason, this matters. If you're a Jordan collector and you're trying to build a Jordan collection, I think it's a pretty important card to have. We're going to get later where I rank it on my Cajun Cardboard relevance scale. We'll get to that at the end. But it is the first ever Jordan refractor, and for that reason, it means something. So moving on, let's look at the pops, okay? And so I've kind of tried to create a table, and I'm going to do this each episode that I do that just kind of gives you a snapshot. If you want to just kind of keep this, and this, again, I had to change this because one sold yesterday, I noticed. And so I just updated this. So this should be updated through today, November 20th, 2021. I tried to put it in order of pretty much value, pretty close. And so I got PSA 10, then BGS 9.5, then PSA 9, then BGS 9, then PSA 8 and 8.5, or sometimes they flip-flop. But I've kind of put it in order of value based on sold price and average sold price and whatnot. This usually is, the track that cards follow. This is more valuable than this, is more valuable than this, is more valuable than this, etc. As you can see, the PSA 10 is special. It's pop 41 out of 659 graded. That's a gem rate of 6%. That's 1 out of every 17 submitted. So, if you're trying to bust boxes, find one and get a PSA 10. I mean, come on. Good luck. I don't think anybody's out there doing that. In fact, I'm not sure many people are busting boxes unless they have, unlimited deep pockets because, you know how wax prices, tend to go up. And so it's almost like the chance of pulling the Jordan's worth more than actually pulling the Jordan, because you're likely not going to pull a PSA 10. Interestingly, comparing the 10 to the 9.5, you'll see that the gem rate is very, very similar. There's actually fewer BGS 9.5s than there are PSA 10s. The last sold price, like I said, for PSA 10 was yesterday, was $19,800. The last one that sold before that was actually, and if we go pull up Card Ladder, you can see, here's the PSA 10. So if we go to the last year, there's 4 that have been sold in the last year, PSA 10. This monster sold here during the peak of this year, during March 20th. Then it dipped way the heck down to 17 in a huge correction just 2 months later. Then it bounced back up to 35,000. And then yesterday, one sold for $16,000 less than it did in October. Less than a month later, it sold for $16,000 less, for 19.8 or 19,800. Now, keep in mind, I'm not naive, and if you're new to collecting, you should know not all PSA 10s are the same. So I haven't looked in detail at these last 4 sales to see which ones have slight greening, which ones have perfect centering and don't, perfect centering on the back, etc. I just know that's a big swing. So if you're buying a 10, if you really want to dip into that place, I would definitely get some input from some other big collectors about whether or not your 10 looks like the $35,000 version or the $19,000 version. Like I said, any of those would be fantastic cards to add to your collection. But swinging back, let's swing back to our spreadsheet here. If you guys want to screenshot this so you always have this data, it's essentially, I'm stealing from Card Ladder, and I've talked to Chris and made sure it was good to go. This is my, data tool of choice, Card Ladder, but I've basically just taken their, 6 pages and plugged it into one, concise, digestible spreadsheet that you guys can see. So if you want to screenshot that right there, you'll always have this as far as this card goes. Anyway, moving on. So you can see the record sale here we just talked about was $45,000 for a 10. Only 7 total gem cards have sold in the last 365 days. Okay, that's less than once a month. And so this card does not come up super often. The average sale price in the last year for the PSA 10 compared to the BGS 9.5 is a preposterous difference. It's almost a 3.5. Okay, in case you were wondering, on the BGS 9.5, there's only one BGS 10. Okay, which I can't even imagine what that would go for. And there are no black labels, thank God, because that would break the internet. So, if you're looking at a more obtainable, more reasonable grade, you're probably, dipping down into the PSA 9, PSA 8, BGS 9, BGS 8.5. Okay, and so these are here for you to compare. You can see the price drop when you get down, out of the gems into the non-gems is significant. So it's definitely an obtainable card. Like I said, I didn't post this card because it's the grail of grails. I posted it because it's historically relevant. I just wanted to let everybody know some of the details about it in the various grades. It seems like a lot of hobby content that we get is this record's broken, or this PSA 10 sold for this, or PSA 10 Auto 10 sold for this. I kind of wanted this for people who are looking to get into the Jordan market, have just got into the Jordan market, maybe don't have enough money to go drop, 20 grand on a PSA 10, just to kind of help you make a decision between, these grades as well. And just kind of educate you guys as I educated myself before I bought my PSA 9 and chose that card. You'll see I call this a gem percentage. This shouldn't be called a gem percentage because down here these are not gems, but 59% graded PSA 9, 27% of the 432 graded by Beckett graded to 27. Look at this number though. When you add these up, so this is all of the refractors ever graded by PSA or BGS. That's a little over 1,000. What is that? 1,091? So 1,091 have ever been graded. And again, whenever you guys look at the pop report, you've got to imagine a lot of that 1,091, there's got to be a relevant number of those cards that are regrades. And so, it may only be 800, maybe 300 of them are regrades. I mean, if you sent a raw one in that you thought looked like a 10 and it came back a PSA 9, and that card's worth an average price of $3,600, but your PSA 10 is worth an average price of $2,900, how many times would you crack that card and resend it to PSA 9 trying to get the PSA 10? I mean, you're talking about a $25,400 difference. And so a lot of these 1,019 that have been graded between PSA and BGS, a lot of those have got to be regrade attempts. When the margin between a 9 and a 10 is that big, that's just what you're going to see. I wish there was a way to track that. I'm not aware of one. Maybe somebody has more. Comment below what percentage of the 1,091 that were graded you think are regrades, where people are trying to bump that card. And then down here we get the most common. It looks like, oddly enough, 60% of the PSA submitted cards graded 9, and a much lower percentage graded 8. So that means they must be coming out of packs in pretty good condition, or maybe they were graded a long time ago, but 60% is, that's 59% and 27%, more than twice as many PSA 9s out there, 391, than PSA 8s, 181. As you can see, obviously, the 9s are the most common, so the 9s are the ones that have sold the most in the last year, and the average sale price is $36.76. Like I said, that's a big number. It's a big card, but it's in a mint condition, and it's a refractor, and it's Jordan's first refractor ever from an historically relevant set for just that reason. I think when Finest came out in '93, I was not collecting, but I know it was a very big deal, and it was a huge, advancement in the quality and the type of cards that were produced. Anyway, going back, as we talked about, the gem rate for the PSA 10 is only 6%, so 1 out of every 17 you submitted. The last PSA 10 sold for 2 times, the BGS 9.5. The PSA 10 sold, the average sale price of the PSA 10 is about 3.5 times, as you can see, the BGS 9.5. So if that helps you make a decision on which one you want to chase, just keep in mind those ratios. This is something I would always do. If you're trying to decide between a PSA 10 and a PSA 9, a PSA 10 and a BGS 9.5, look at the ratio. Again, another thing to consider for those of you that are new, and I probably should have mentioned this earlier, just like not all PSA 10s are the same, all 9.5s are definitely not the same because BGS has subgrades. So, some of these BGS 9.5s that have sold in the last year, if we go back and look at Card Ladder, you can actually look at the cards that have sold. But let's go down to the BGS 9.5. So if you look at that graph, and let's even go back here, let's go back to 2 years so we can see some more. So you'll see how many sold. So 11 have sold, in the past 2 years, and you can see the prices fluctuated drastically. It looks like it's definitely on the uptick for the 9.5. But you don't know if this is a Gem Plus with 2 10 subgrades, and a 10 surface and a 10 centering, or if it's a Min Gem. And same thing for this. But I know you can look on, Card Ladder and do a much deeper dive. But that's something to really keep in mind if you guys are trying to decide what the value of a BGS 9.5 is that, man, those subgrades can make a huge difference. The difference between a Min Gem and a True Gem Plus, a True Gem or a Gem Plus could be massive. So that's just something to consider. But nevertheless, all those things considered, the last 3 that have sold in the past year have an average of 8,116. And it looks like it's on the rise based on that Card Ladder graph. The PSA 10 record, obviously, we talked about it. It's 4.4 times the BGS 9.5 record. They don't come along often in gem condition. Like we said, 7 total have sold in the last year. PSA 9 and BGS 8.5 are the sweet spots if you just want to add it to your collection. That's right here. You're looking at 3,600, an 8.5 or a BGS 9. The difference between a BGS 9 and a BGS 8.5 is not that great as far as average sales prices go. I mean, 2,300 for a 9, 1,764. That's less than $600 less for a BGS 8.5. If that's the case, I'm just grabbing the 9, man. I'm just going to grab the 9. There's 117 9s. There's 143 8.5s. I mean, I would just grab the 9 if you're a BGS fan and you're trying to decide between a 9 and an 8.5, you go with the 9 for the extra $600 for sure. Going back to my PC, like I said, I own one of these. It's a PSA 9. There's no greening on it, which I'm really proud of, and that makes me feel a lot better about it. I'd rather a beautiful, colorful PSA 9 than a greened BGS 9.5 that has turned. Something I should have mentioned about greening, it can happen in the slab. Again, I'm not an expert. I just know and I've seen and I've done the research The card can change once it's in the slab. That doesn't stop the greening effect. So you may buy, and I think that's a big consideration with like the 96 Kobe Topps Chrome base and refractors. Is dang card, you're paying a fortune for it in PSA 10 or BGS 9.5 condition. The card can change colors. I know a lot of people keep them in dark rooms or keep them in a safe or keep them wherever. I don't have a lot of experience with it. I just grabbed this 1.9 and just hope it stays that color forever. And it's in my PWCC vault, as all my slab cards are, other than the ones that I'm trying to sell on my own, through eBay or whatever. So hopefully PWCC's keeping it. I'm sure they've got a lot of cards that they've got to keep in a certain condition to make sure that they don't green. So then the next question is, buy, sell, or hold. What is my opinion on this? I'm not here to give you investment advice. I'm simply saying, I'm going to share my perspective of how I feel about this card. So I am more likely to buy than I am to sell. And when I say that, I'd probably try to bump to a BGS 9.5 just because the ratio between the 9.5 and the 10, PSA 10, I think is too great. So I am more likely to buy a 9.5 and then sell my PSA 9 than just to sell the PSA 9 and get out of the card. The way I collect Jordan cards, this is a card I have to have in my collection. I won't feel complete if I don't have it. I feel good about having it in a PSA 9, with the colors popping the way they do. But if you know me, and you'll learn to know more about me, I really like to chase a card in this price range in the 9.5 or PSA 10 condition. And how I decide between the 9.5 and the 10 depends a lot on the price differential between the BGS 9.5 and the 10. And so, you can read on the screen, I'd probably go look for a quad 9.5, just under 10 grand. Since it looks like the last sold is 10. The average for the last year is 81.16 in BGS 9.5. Me personally, this is just me. I would probably move the PSA 9, get $3,500, whatever net, and then apply it and try to snag a BGS 9.5 if I saw one come up in a PWCC monthly or it wouldn't be in a Premier because it's not 20, but if I saw it come up in a PWCC monthly, I'd probably try to grab it. I would also look at it on eBay. Obviously, different considerations come into play. When you buy on PWCC monthly auctions, it's going to go straight from vault to vault. So I don't have to touch the card. The card doesn't have to get shipped to me. It just gets in my vault the next day or 2 days later after I pay. I would also consider buying it on eBay or buying it off social media, on Instagram or Facebook, which is a great time to remind you. Follow me on Instagram or Facebook. It's the same name, Cajun Cardboard. Obviously there's benefits to buying on social media in, certain tax implications, eBay fees, et cetera. If you can find a vetted, vouched for seller who you know and trust, I can't stress enough how important that is. If I'm buying on eBay, I'm looking for a seller that I recognize. I've got to be really sure I'm getting what I'm buying. And pictures can sometimes not tell the whole story. So an eBay picture may look perfect and then you may get it in hand or it may show up in your vault and it looks a little greener than you thought, especially on a card like this. So I'd be really careful buying that card and really, really be hyper focused on the colors. Because I think that's what makes this card special. I mean, looking at the card is, the card's beautiful. I mean, even, I've just got the PSA 9, but the colors on this card are beautiful. Jordan's fate, it actually looks kind of like Pippen, but I swear it's got to be Jordan. He's wearing the 23. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful creation of the card. I mean, all the refractors from this year are really special. So that's why I chose this one for my first deep dive, guys. It's a historically different, like I have it down here, it's a historically significant card that if you're going to have a Jordan collection and you want it to be complete top to bottom, this is a card you have to have. So on my Cajun Cardboard scale of relevance, which will be interesting, and this is where I want you to comment, agree, disagree, whatever. I think this is an 8 out of 10 card. I think it checks all the boxes. It's the first of something. It's the first refractor. It's the first year of finest. It's got the low pop that you want. It can be bought. I mean, it's an affordable price in these grades, man. I mean, if you look at these grades, there's just not that many of them out there. I mean, if you look at PSA 9s and 10s combined, it's like 432 cards. That's not going to be in a lot of cards 5 years from now. Okay, 432 is not going to be a high pop. And we've already talked about how many of those 391 are regrades. Maybe the 391 is 311 or 300 or 350. I don't know, because a lot of that number right there is going to be cracking resubs. Anyway, so that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, there's going to be a lot more coming. I wanted to keep it to 20 minutes, but I talk fast and I talk a lot. Again, let me scroll back up here so you can take a screenshot if you want it. Special thank you to Card Ladder, Cardboard Connection, the PSA Pop Report, the Beckett Pop Report, 130point.com is my go-to, if I'm just looking for the last sold price, if it's a card that Card Ladder doesn't have up. Anyway, if you guys want to take a picture of any of this or screenshot any of this, obviously PWCC is where I keep my cards, so I don't have to worry about them. It reduces my cost. It makes it easier to get in and out. Anyway, hope you guys liked the video. My next video is going to be something called Basketball Card Battles, where you guys comment and make a choice on A versus B. A may be one card, B is going to be a different card or cards, and you're going to basically comment, and I'm going to give my analysis on which I would rather have in my collection for the short term or for the long term, from a purely investment standpoint, and then which one I would rather have from a collector standpoint. A video like the one that you just watched for Explore the Card is a collector and an investor video, so it should appeal to both collectors and investors. As a collector, I think this is a card you probably want to have in your collection long term, and as an investor, I think there's room for growth in certain grades. And I'll let you guys digest the data. I don't like to give investment advice too much, but I'll let you guys check it out and figure out if there's an arbitrage or if one grade's underpriced or overpriced or whatever. That's for each his own. Anyway, hope you guys liked the video. Do me a favor, please like the video, comment below, let me know how to get better at this. I'm gonna be making a bunch of these. I wanna make it what you guys wanna see. And then do me a huge favor and hit that bell icon. I really want you to hit the bell icon so you can get notified for my next one. Feedback from you guys is the only way I'm going to get better at this. Literally anything and everything. I want to hear the good and the bad. So I appreciate you guys listening. And until next time, peace.